Hey friends, we are looking at the M7 artillery tank by Nifeliz, and this is set number NF10336 with 646 pieces. And in this video we're going to do a 360. We're going to take a look at all the different details that are in there, and then we will talk about what's unique about this model as well. Here's a minifigure for scale. I'd say that this is smaller than minifig scale. You can put a figure right here in the top, but it looks a little bit strange. So I'm not 100% sure how the scale compares, to tell you the truth. All right, and then as far as the model itself, you can see that it's not really a tank. It's more like a big gun on treads, tank treads. So if you need a big gun, you need it to get different places and to get there quickly. That's what this is all about. And it's also nicknamed the Priest, and they named it that because of this area up here where the machine gun is. It looks like a pulpit, and so they end up calling it the Priest. This set is an unusual color. It's almost like an olive, dark olive green. But my impressions of the set are that it is extremely detailed for the size, and they do name the designer inside the instructions, and I'll list the designer name in the description. But this designer did a fantastic job just making everything look as realistic, and actually they quoted that it should feel, the designer wanted it to look lived in, and that I think came through just in the layout of the different things that you see within the model. It feels like a vehicle that has been driven, that's been laid out, where all of the toolboxes and the tools are in the right place. Okay, so let's zoom in. We'll start up here at the front. Now, I'm not a tank aficionado, so I'm not going to know the proper names for the different things that we see here, but I do believe these are probably forward-facing lights, like headlights. There's a lot of greebling. I really enjoyed building this tank because it's the closest thing to building a Lego Star Wars set without the Lego Star Wars price. There's a lot of greebling, a lot of interesting pieces. Pieces come together to form really cool weaponry, different things that function and move. And there's a lot of gray, just like in Star Wars. Up here you see additional equipment hanging off the front, and I appreciate that the overhang, I don't know if you call these fenders over the treads, they're very sturdy. I have a couple other tanks where the overhanging almost like mud flaps are very loose and they're easy to break off. Tank treads are really nicely done as well, and the wheels are actually rubberized. So these are your normal Lego style wheels, but each of them is covered in a rubber tire. Interestingly, this model came with the tires already installed on each wheel. I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure why they did that. I appreciate it. It saved me a little bit of time. And as you go around to the back, you see there are like the equivalent of taillights, more tools. This may be some sort of a drain. Down at the bottom, there's like a bib or a spigot. A better look here at the back area, which has two toolboxes. What else do we have back here? We have a hammer, we have an axe, we have a shovel, and this entire back panel is actually tilted down. So it's a clever technique which just subtly angled downwards, which probably is realistic to the actual model. More greebling and equipment there that you see, and then room for additional stuff if you want to add your own things. The other side of it, this is actually a brown, almost like maybe a saddlebag or something like that on some sort of storage on the side there. And we have a sticker here that says Priest. Everything you see here are dual transfer stickers. So you stick it on and then you peel the top layer off. And luckily the sticker sheet actually tells you about that. It warns you. It has this little a warning right there that tells you that that's the situation. So I appreciate that. Up here, we have a machine gun. And this machine gun, you'll notice, is not a Lego part at all. It's actually a custom piece. So let me remove it. Here it is removed. You can see it's got an ammo box attached to it. And these are actually two parts. And they come apart like that. And these two parts came on a parts sprue, which looks like this. And inside of it also came a little like a kickstand for the machine gun. There it is right there. And we didn't use it though, but if you wanted to, you could pull that machine gun off and use it for other purposes. So looking inside the main area here, you see a gear lever and you see some artillery. And I like the way that they created these little spaces where you could put the artillery. So you could put a bunch more if you want to. And these are slightly different color. They're slightly grayish or almost a metallic gray. And they come with how many? 8 of them. And on this side, there's additional area to store as well. The main gun, I want to say it's a Howitzer, is mounted in here, and you can angle it a little bit if you need to, up and down. And this is, I thought maybe this was all one custom piece when I was looking at the box, but this is all standard brick built all the way back, including this area back here. It's pretty well done, and it has pivots and hinges in just the right places. So good job there. There is also a toolbox. I wanted to point out right there. Make sure it's focused. Yeah, right there. There's a toolbox, storage area, things like that. Here's the M7 next to 2 other tanks that I recently reviewed. I would say that this M7, it has about the same piece count, and it's a little smaller, but it's actually more detailed and probably more rugged. There's a lot more greebling, a lot more what feels like actual equipment and usage and thought put into the design of the model. And that could be because there's a lot more exposed interior workspace versus a tank where you really can't see the workspace. It's all kind of hidden inside. These tanks also use a lot of their part count towards action features, like being able to move the turrets. So, but what I was mentioning before here are these fender areas that break off quite easily on these models, but this one, it's a lot more sturdy. In general, I really loved building this model. It felt a lot like building a genuine Lego model. I've spent a lot of time recently building a couple other brands, and my fingers start to hurt over time because the pieces are just so hard to put together. They're over clutched. But this one wasn't that way. I was able to get the pieces to fit together without all the friction, without pushing, without getting the angles just right. So my fingers are fine from that experience. And the colors look pretty good. My only kind of nitpick about this was that the mold marks on each of the pieces is very noticeable. So let's zoom in. I'll show you an example of one right there. So this is a 1x1 cheese wedge, and you can only angle it that way. It has to be exposed. And I was finding that so many parts had these little white dots on the edges where it's just part of the mold process. So wherever I could, I was angling and positioning them so that they were not on the exterior of the model, so that they'd be the interior, so you wouldn't see them. But they were really noticeable for just whatever reason when they were producing them. That's just how they came out. So if they can fix that, these are really, really great bricks. It's a really good experience. He had a lot of parts left over, which I appreciate. Unlike some brands that try to just give you the exact precise number of parts, you got a bunch left over in case you lose some, in case something happens. All right, but I really enjoyed building this one. And if you like this video, hit like, subscribe if you haven't. I would really appreciate that. Helps me keep finding and getting and reviewing new models to share with all of you. Thank you.